let me press the record button. Good morning, this is the Council on Aging Board Meeting, Wednesday, April 4th at 2018 at 9:30 a.m. The meeting is being held at Town Hall, 210 College Highway. The meeting is being video and audio recorded in support of full transparency within the town. So good morning, welcome. We'll make sure the treasurer's report is a little bit later in the agenda. Josie's sitting there, yes.
The select board meeting was not videoed.
It's tonight. The select board meeting's tonight. Last night was the caucus. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking.
Usually it is Tuesday, though, you're right.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Is she recorded?
They're trying to confuse you.
Yes, it is.
That's good. Nobody's here from the public, so no open time in the public. And
Moving right
March.
Moving right along.
Moving right on. Well, you've set a bar. I've got great feedback on that bar.
I had nothing to do with that. That was like, no.
Okay, so minutes.
Good morning, Josie. Good morning.
Good morning. Set over there. Sorry, I was working. Parked behind the car.
You have to bring a note next time.
Okay, and that's for you too. Oops, that was good.
This is what you emailed us, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you find my error, which I found myself when I reread it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I think we should throw an error just to make sure people are reading.
There you go.
I did read it.
But no, I didn't find it because I didn't.
I didn't either.
It was the 501.
C3.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that was an error.
You're throwing yourself under the
Okay,
bus here,
yes.
you know, you're not supposed to pass up to errors.
I saw that, but I didn't, yeah, I recognized that, I wouldn't have known that. Was it supposed
Oh,
to
right
be?
out 501c3.
Yeah. I transposed it.
Since I wasn't here, other than that error, I don't know if there's any.
Well, other than it's longer than it's supposed to be.
It's longer than the meeting was. This is interesting, now you're including in the report, the reports in the report?
Yeah, she's been doing that, right, for a couple months, or?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And what I do is I go down and have Darlene runs the copies for me for these. And then the rest I do on my own
You
printing.
may want to wait on the treasurers, because there's sometimes less
Changes.
updates.
But this is from last month.
Oh, it's last month's report? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah. And the only ones who get it are the board members
Yeah.
anyhow. And Joe. And Maureen.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from March 7th?
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion? Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Update by Josie on the Friends.
All right. Upside down, but that's okay. I'll just get through the paperwork here. Let's see. Well, it was a good meeting, long meeting. So the balance of in Friends at the moment is $5,240.47. The March luncheon went very well. I don't have any dollar amounts for that. Let's see, one thing they're working on, and they approved it, is a new logo, and they've got a logo for the letterhead and a logo for the website. It's really nice, and I don't have a copy.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't bring mine either.
It's, go ahead, I've seen it, but go ahead, describe it.
It's two hands with a heart with like sun rays on it, and it says Fosco and Friends of Southampton Council on Aging, and she's doing it in a long version so that they could put it on letterhead.
Yeah, and then there's one that's circular that'll go on the website. Right. They have their mission statement ready for, which they need in order to become 501c3 for the application, but they're waiting on our mission statement, which I understand Mildred's gonna draft it. So we'll talk about that later. And let's see. They have a Friends website that is Friends COA. I always get confused on this. Which you can find the website going through the town of Southampton. And then there's a series of things you got to click on to get down to the Friends website. And there is, they now have set up a email address for the Friends. And that is fsouth.coa@gmail.com. But it's really just for the board, I think.
The board to read them, but
Read them, okay.
anybody can send an email.
Okay.
That's what the website is for. So if you're for communication, anyone can send one. The board has to read them. There's a password to read them.
So, let's see, there's a May 18th and 19th is their tag sale. And the town elections are going to be on May 15th, so they're arranging, they still have to arrange for whoever sets up the
Highway
voting
department.
booth to take them down so that they have.
Are they storing things off-site or something?
Right, and we have there is a place, a box, we've got the key or lock for it and everything, so. They're planning a wine tasting sometime in October.
That's okay. Yeah, took my shoe off. It's too chubby over there. Thanks.
Let's see. Oh, the bingo, I think this may have been mentioned last time, that the bingo, because it's considered gambling, the Friends can't do that. They can't support it. They can still offer the site for it, but the costs associated with bingo have to come from the COA. And it turns out to be a whopping maybe $10 a month. So
And some of it's free refreshments, but I don't think that considered part of the gambling. So they've said
Friends
that they
will
can
still
still
do that.
provide refreshments.
right. Number of day trips that have been planned that really Joan has been working on quite a bit between combining East Hampton and Southampton. Do you want to say anything?
I'll talk about that when I talk about my report.
All
Thanks.
right.
And it's really them supporting our initiatives versus us supporting
Because they
their
have,
initiatives.
they have the money, Friends has the money, so I don't have a checkbook to write checks
Right.
and collect money, so they are handling the financial end of it.
There's going to be a picnic. Now, that's going to be June 11th, and that'll be at Conant Park. So that has been reserved. And the price this year is going to be $12 per person. They're changing the menu a little bit.
Okay. Is the
camels.
Is it going to be at the center if it rains? I'm looking out the window.
Yeah, I believe so, as long as it's not more than 75. We have a limit of 75 people.
Yeah, that's safe.
And there is a gift basket that Francine offered, or made available, that will be raffled at an upcoming luncheon. And they've also asked the members of the Friends, at least go to those meetings, to donate one item or a gift certificate or something like that to do another basket that they can raffle. So this is one of their fundraising endeavors, and that would be raffled at the actually, the first one is going to be at one of the luncheons, and
I
the
think they
second one is
decided to
at
do
the-
both of them at the picnic because there'd be more people.
And they decided not to offer a scholarship this year, right?
It wasn't in the bylaws because their fundraising should be for the COA.
Right.
And since the kiddos, they said if you want to support a scholarship, I think the Mothers Club and some other places have scholarships.
Women's Club.
The Women's Club.
Oh, yeah, there's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was about it. Did you have anything else, Joan? that you
No,
picked up
very
that I didn't?
detailed.
Okay. Thanks, Josie.
You're welcome.
So let's start on our reports. We'll start with Joan's monthly report.
All right. So we had a good month. This is, you can pass these along. Here we go, here we go. Got enough over there? And then, everybody has one?
Yes.
Okay, we'll
You
give
go.
that, yeah, Nelda gets all the extras.
No, I'll take the extras.
Good more.
So we've started new programming, and people are coming, and it's exciting. We have a new walking group. Mondays were fairly quiet. So we have a new walking group and a Tai Chi DVD, which happens to be Mei Lee, who was here 10 years ago. So Teresa St. Martin recognized her. And this tape is 20 years old, so it shows her and her children when they were young, and they're all in college now. But I know them personally because they were at the center I was at before. So anyway, it's fine for now. We do have a World Tai Chi Day, and there's somebody named Michelle Grassi, I think is her name. She's going to come and do a free Tai Chi demonstration the end of April. But this is weekly, and we do have a few people interested. The walking group obviously gets canceled in the bad weather, so we didn't have it Monday. Line dancing, Laurie's part of our line dancing group, Josie's part of our line dancing group, and I think it brings a little bit of music. And Catherine, excuse me, Catherine, you're right.
I went once.
And yes, you did. I mean, there's been interest, which I'm
Can't go all the
happy,
time.
because, we had the survey, and we tried some of the things that were on the survey, like crafts and men's coffee, and we didn't have any attendance at all, so that we've kind of curtailed those activities. But there's attendance, which is thrilling for me, and I line dance myself, so great to see that people are exercising and having fun at the same time.
So just
That's the beauty. You are exercising.
yeah, without knowing. On the email that went out for Flo for the newsletter, it said line dancing on Mondays in the body of her email.
Oh,
So you might want to check that, change it to Tuesday, right? Because it's Tuesday?
it was actually Darlene that sent it.
Oh, okay.
She
I
uses
thought-
her
oh,
computer,
okay, she
and it
sent
ended up,
those.
so I'll let Darlene
Yeah,
know.
all right.
Yeah, there's, I don't know, there's a little problem with which email, but it did come from Flo's
Flo's, yeah.
account,
Mhm.
but it was Darlene. So it said Mondays and it's Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Are there 2 newsletters that went out? 2 different newsletters?
No.
So I got one on Saturday, and then I got another one.
I think one goes to the board. Oh,
That had some different information on it. I didn't bring them, I didn't print the one that was yesterday.
So there was an update, this one went out, or this one is the one that I sent out, and there was an update on the back. We added, on the 11th, we're having a fraud talk, so there was an additional, and we're having pancakes, which we just thought up. We had a request to go out for pancakes, because this is the time of spring year, maple syrup, etc. First of all, we don't have money in the Frida account to take an extra trip, so we decided to have the pancakes here. So Darlene's cooking.
Were there any other changes then within?
I think it was just the back.
So which one went out to everybody? The mailing?
Yesterday, the mailing is this one.
Is the updated one?
No. The mailing,
So why did we get, I don't know if everybody got it.
the only
I don't
change
know.
was the 11th.
Oh, okay.
And I may have sent them out when I finished it, and I am making a effort to have it sent out and edited and returned to me before it's printed, so people can catch the mistake. So that's my fault, because there's a deadline of the 15th,
Right.
and I haven't gotten it done by the 15th to send it out and get it back.
by the 15th.
So I need to maybe make the deadline the 10th, in my mind, and get it out to the board or whoever to edit it and get it back. So right now, there's a lot of things. Obviously, there's meetings the first part of the week, there's Frida reports, and this takes a good day. It takes 6 or 7 hours to do this newsletter. I don't know what it took people to do before. I know they only did it every other month. But
Well, it wasn't as detailed.
It's not, even though you're repeating some things, it's time consuming. And I enjoy it. It's not like I don't enjoy it, but it is time consuming.
Sure.
Anyway, so the corrections, we're all human. We're going to get better at trying to pick up on corrections before it goes to print.
Even those submitted from me, because
Yeah.
my article had breed instead of bread, and I didn't catch it because I can't prove my own stuff, and Joan didn't catch it, so.
Yeah, and what did I say? I picked this up after I printed it, 501.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny
I mean,
because...
I'm not being critical that there were
No, we're
mistakes. I just didn't know, I hadn't gotten one in an email before as an attachment. I had
We added
requested
you
it
to the
emailed.
list because I think you had
So I was
missed-
just curious as to, and then there was, I think the pancake was one thing that was, but I didn't do side by side.
That was a last minute thought. We have been trying to do a meal of some type weekly on Wednesdays. Like today, it's Armbrook Estates is coming, or Armbrook Village, and it's healthy eating, and they're going to provide something. It's not really a meal. I mean, it's not like you go to a restaurant, you get something. We had soup, we had, pizza, we had goulash. Some are donated, some want at least the money back for their supplies. Any extra goes back to friends. They're getting the money from any extra things. We did.
They're the ones that make the food that brings.
Most of the people that have been providing it, Andrea Sullivan, Francine, Carolyn, and Chris. There's about 4 people who have been providing food. And one said she'd never do it again, but she did it anyway. She plans it again. She has a great...
Can you, I'm not following that. So this is for the bingo day?
Right, on Wednesday.
So you have a speaker coming in,
Today we have a speaker.
and then that
they
person doesn't bring the food?
Not always.
Okay.
Today they are.
Okay, so,
So there's nothing provided by anyone else except for the Armbrook Village today.
okay.
So the lunch bunch is at 11:30, and then the bingo's at 12:30.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Right.
So that reminds me that we decided, because
It's
they've only
confusing.
been charging $2 for the meals that are brought, like the pizza or the soup or whatever. And it doesn't cover all of the supplies, as well as the meal. you know.
Napkins, plates, bowls,
Right.
spoons.
So, we're gonna raise that to $3. Friends is raising that to $3. And decided to change the name a little bit, because there's some days that are supposed to be bring your own lunch.
Right.
So we're gonna, what did we decide on? Brown bag or
We're either
bring your
gonna,
own
yeah,
lunch?
we're gonna either say brown bag or bring your own. There is free coffee every Wednesday. I've only attracted one extra person for that. But I'm trying.
You're doing great.
Yeah, it works out good. Wednesday's perfect because people are coming to bingo. They like coming earlier. They have their social time, so they're not socializing during bingo.
Getting yelled at, probably.
Yes, by the caller.
So I just had two other comments. I finally reached the Gazette. I don't know if you get the Gazette. We are no longer getting the Gazette in the Council on Aging, but they do have it through the office. If anybody's looking for it, we can get it in the break room. And I did find out from Velda that we could have gotten a better rate. Some people say they pay $5 or $10, something crazy a year, and they gave us a bill for $70. So I don't know if you get in on a program. Anyway, we are no longer getting it, but I did know that the summit was not being updated. If you get the Thursday paper,
Oh, yeah, that's been antique.
it's been a long time, and we couldn't find the person, and between Darlene and I, Darlene's only here 2 days a week, Flo's only here 4 hours a week, so we just couldn't reach it. We finally reached her name I think is Barbara Nelson from the Gazette. She was able to update it, so we've made that.
Good.
Only took 6 months, but we did find out who to update it with. We did
Are we
call...
still having somebody do computer classes? Because I thought
Art-
that's still
Art
in the
Lawrence-
program.
It's not in the...
It's not in this.
No,
right? On the summit.
I think I took it
Yeah,
off
just
the
update.
last
I think so,
time.
that'll be
Because-
because she
Oh, it
just
does
up-
say computer all day long, so the
Available.
computers are available if anybody
Yeah.
wants. There's no classes. Art Lawrence has taught 2 or 3 people. They were using their own laptops
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they had a question. We call Art, they come in, they get together, they teach
But
each
no,
other.
So it's not a
Schedule.
schedule
Robert-
thing, you
no.
can't schedule, it's just...
Right,
Robert
as
Because,
needed.
You had raised an issue with one of the computers that you couldn't get into it because of,
It's all been corrected,
so that's all that.
yeah.
Speaking of Velda, real quick, for those that don't know, Velda's going to be moving and will be leaving as her town, as the assistant.
Do we have a date?
I don't know for sure.
I've heard end of April.
I heard end of
Yeah, I
April,
heard,
but
yeah.
Her son is there. She wants to be
Yes.
close to her family.
Makes sense.
okay. They just, not to get off topic, but you
But
mentioned
I'm
Velda,
glad
so I just
yeah.
wanted to make sure.
And Velda, now that we're speaking of Velda, she's a wonderful lady. She helped us get our 2 lines, our 2 phone lines. Poor Richard, our bus van driver said he couldn't get through, and we were actually on the line, and he couldn't get through. So she figured it out, she came in, we adjusted wires, we finally have 2 lines, but now the problem is they both ring at the same time, so you're on the line and the other phone rings. Well, you can't answer 2 phones at the same time. So we have to find out a way to make the second line just go to voicemail, so at least you're getting an answer.
So none of them hunt to a voicemail?
There's no voicemail set up yet, but it will happen. And if I can't do it, Velda will do it. It has, but there are 2 lines.
progress.
Just for those of us who know, there are 2 lines, and you can push the line, you can be on one, put it on hold, and say, I'm sorry, you can wait. I don't know if you put that one on hold. I don't know, I'm not an operator, I'm trying to be a director, and it's been frustrating for everybody. But we do have 2 lines in existence now. We
It's
just
a
have to...
big step, and now we have to just...
And the phone, we can
finalize.
hear the voicemail. We can hear the answering machine, which we couldn't hear. It was very poor. So we have made some progress. It's not perfect, but maybe by next month we'll have it perfect.
Can I interject real quick? This will be real quick. I have done astrology for 50 years. Mercury is currently retrograde. You'll hear that term. And it deals with communication problems, travel, anything that deals with communication. So don't worry about the phones. By the end of April, life will be back to normal.
So Mercury's out of whack, huh?
Mercury's out of whack.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And I was able to network with some other directors and volunteer directors at Northampton Senior Center last week for RSVP. They did bring up, and I think it's Nilda that said you had never heard from RSVP, but
Oh, I've gotten emails from her.
all right, so you're able to give her your hours now?
No, because she sent me a form, and it appeared to me that this was beyond, you register with RSVP, and then it's sort of like you go into this bank. I mean, they want all this information about, your skills and what, they're just not addressing this specific, and I did not want to, I mean, I have a choice, of course, whether I want to go somewhere else than donate my time.
No, but Highland Valley has many RSVP volunteers.
Yeah, it's
So you can
volunteer
be,
based.
right, so
Yeah.
you could be part of the RSVP from Highland Valley, or you could be here. You're right, there isn't a real big need at this time here in the Council on Aging, but Highland Valley, you could be an RSVP volunteer through Highland Valley.
Yeah.
So.
What's her name? Because I haven't, it was a while ago.
Pat Sicard.
Yeah.
And there's a couple new people, Sandra, I mean, I can send you the contacts.
that's okay.
But Flo.
I got enough on my plate right now.
All right, because Flo does collect all the hours every month and sends them over. So she is using her volunteer coordinating as part of RSVP, because I'm just a little overwhelmed with what I'm doing. And so I'm trying to delegate a few things.
That's good. Nilda, just being on the board, that would be considered RSVP work.
Who?
Highland Valley.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And being on this board too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you're covered in a couple of areas.
It's just a matter of
I'm not
filling
worried
out a
about the
form.
hours that I put in, it's just...
It's reporting it. If they
It's
don't.
not
if they
even
don't-
reporting on it,
Yeah.
it's just there's just a lot going on right now. And
We could probably all read.
We want to give you that free dinner at the log cabin in November, or whenever it is.
Yeah.
I'll be there in your dreams.
Okay. Have we skipped around a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine, we don't have to go.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
how about
if there's any
clothes?
questions on
I did
it.
have this cute little thing show up at my door, and maybe you recognize it. It was on the counter. It's a Galapagos tortoise, and it's light as a feather. It's huge. It's this big, and they want it to be named, they want it to be a mascot for the Council on Aging. So it's kind of interesting, because it says seniors long endure, and I guess they live to be 100 years old. So I thought it was very interesting. It's right now sitting at the computer table with the plants. It looks like it's in its natural setting there, so. I don't know, we may use it for something. Anyway, it was donated, and it has returned.
I was going to say, didn't we do that and then...
It disappeared last year, I think, and it then
Oh,
returned.
sure, Shirley brought it in.
Yeah, and then she took it
when all
home.
that
She took it
stuff
back.
was going on, she took it, because
Yeah.
nothing was getting done, so she took it back home, then she brought it back.
All right, so I have
It's a perfect,
Flo's
it's
report.
the way government works in Southampton.
Slow.
Or sometimes so fast, you keep up.
I didn't put it in my report, but I did end up at a select board meeting, which
At the
was
request of
very
Ed
long.
Gibson, yes.
Yeah, by Ed Gibson, asked me to go, and I left a little early, it ended like 10:15 or 10:30 at night, and I was paid. I mean, I took 3 hours. I went to the log cabin one day with the seniors, so I used those hours, and I didn't get paid for that day when I was on a trip, but I did get paid for being here at a select board meeting. So I hope I don't have to go to many of those.
It's one of those marathon
Better
ones.
not let that out, because department heads don't get paid if they go to select board meetings.
Most of them do.
Well, it's only fair. I mean, it's not like, because if they're salary, they're gonna get,
There are people that are hourly and don't get paid.
Well, we'll confirm that.
well, then I got
We'll
paid for the
confirm
trip to
that.
the log cabin, and I didn't get paid.
We'll confirm that with
for
Ed,
the-
because no one has ever
You know,
shared that with me on either board, and Martha's asked to spend a lot of time over, so we'll have
She's
to.
been paid if she goes to a select board meeting?
I
If it's
believe so.
required.
Has,
I mean, it's not I want to be there. I would have rather been home.
Yeah, especially
You
with-
picked a good one to go.
Because I sent a message to Ed and said we don't have the money in the budget, and he said he had recommended that she come. So if that's a policy, I've never seen it in writing anyplace, so I'm happy to speak to Ed about it and see where that policy exists.
Well, he's her boss.
Yeah.
And he okayed it, so I think it's a moot point. Moving
Well,
on.
considering the budget is tight with the salaries, I would think.
I didn't go over budget because I
She
went,
didn't.
took other time
And
off.
then I'm talking about in terms of just the whole budget. I'm not
Well,
talking
she's,
about-
may never have to go to another one, so like I say, it's a moot point. Moving
I'll
on, so we
confirm
can
with
get
Ed,
out
so-
of here.
Okay.
This is Flo's report. It's pretty
So-
self-explanatory.
And I make copies and include that in the monthly.
Oh, okay.
So
All right, then
you don't even have to
in the
worry
future,
about it.
yeah, we won't make copies of it if we have it already. Good, okay.
I do have
Save
things
paper.
on the mission statement, but I don't know if you want to do the treasurer's report first, or...
Why don't we take that up when Mildred
When we get to it
reports?
on the agenda too, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the mission statement's on the agenda, so let's continue. You want to do the treasurer's report?
Do I want to?
We worked very hard.
We were,
You worked very hard. You and Janet worked very hard.
I'd say this was a team effort.
It was definitely a team effort.
Which short one?
No, excuse me.
I was in color. We're getting fancy.
I
Because I
think
printed it at home.
it's so much better in color, though.
Josie put it in color and I printed it at home.
So, we're trying to keep it a little simpler.
That works for me.
And the account numbers are up at the top, you can see that. And then what areas they go to. And then our records, basically what we have as the remaining balance, which may differ from what the accounting reports show.
Because it's not up to date yet.
Right.
Really. And that's normal, I think, since I took over treasurer. You know, Shannon had a much more updated report than the one I would have from Vicki, so that's not unusual.
So, probably the main thing that I added was, you can see at the bottom, the amount needed for the remainder of fiscal year 18. So under wages, we need $5,595 to...
We have 55, right? That's
We
what
have...
We have
We have-
remaining here.
Oh,
and then
amount
we
needed.
have-
I see. Okay,
Our
okay.
remaining is $58.75.
Okay, so
we're
that's the
into that.
remaining, this is the, okay, gotcha,
Somehow,
gotcha.
and because the accounting reports aren't up to date, they say we have more.
Right.
Then the state, we need the 2703, that's at the bottom. We think we have 2968. The accounting report says we're in a deficit there.
That's because the state formula grant information hasn't been updated.
Applied.
I think
Okay.
Vicki sent the email that said she gave it to Donna, and
Oh, right.
Donna just input it, so she'll be getting it in the next report,
Okay.
so.
Right. And then the Frida, you can see, I'm still having confusion about
We are
all
still
of
having
that.
confusion about that.
Yeah.
Vicki seems to have a good handle on it. And so does
But-
Frida, yeah.
Because of the way, somehow, any of the revolving accounts, they don't actually update with a balance on those, and they get applied to, I believe, to some of the expenses, so we don't really have good balances from anybody, from either, well, Frida says we're over budget.
We're targeted to be over.
We're targeted because of the 6-month numbers.
So anyway, but Joan is scheduled to meet with Ed about that, and Ed is the liaison now to Frida.
For the town.
And they're gonna work on ways we can balance.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So-
Ed said it will find a way to transfer the monies, as long as we keep it manageable and don't exceed that point at this point, so.
Right.
Yeah, we're actually, there hasn't been a lot of interest in mall trips or Walmart trips, so we're pretty much curtailing group shopping trips because there hasn't been an interest anyway, but we're not planning any field trips per se from now through June. Maybe in July we could we look at that for the concerts, summer concerts, et cetera. But through the fiscal year, we're not planning any extra trips with the van. We're using the big buses.
Right.
And from an expense standpoint, we have $837 left in the town budget and $956 left in the formula grant, which is just how we divided it up. But so that looks like we can cover most things that come in. We won't be buying furniture this year.
There is a bill for you, for your charge for the website. Do you have a receipt or anything that we can apply to make sure?
I've been looking for that email that I got initially where it gave me,
I may have that email.
it supported the,
Joanne may
yeah,
have.
the charge, but,
And then we'll just time
I-
the
you know,
month. Okay, so,
I haven't
I mean, you
really
would
followed
like that
up.
money back, I would expect.
well, if it was charged out of my account, I gave them my credit card.
Right.
number.
I understand.
Just gave them
That's fine.
an
I would be
open door
glad,
to do whatever they gotta charge.
I would be glad to write a warrant or a request for payment for
Let
you.
me check.
It's, I think
don't
it's
even know what-
$12 times whatever it started, I don't know when it started, May, June.
July 1, because we
Oh, we can't
we
go back before
This is this
July
year's
1.
budget.
But
so-
it was, but I thought it needed to be paid up front, and then they would draw down each month. That's what I mean, $12 is not a big deal, but
It adds up.
I just wanna be able to release that card from them having that.
It's done. As of April 11th, it's done.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that you're
I'll look into it 'cause I
reimbursed.
haven't.
Yeah, you should be reimbursed because that was good of you to do
Yes.
that. I understand they needed a credit card up front and you were, you wanted to make it happen, so, but you should be reimbursed for that.
Okay. Any other comments on the treasurer's report or questions?
I have a comment, probably in a question. So these numbers are a snapshot of when, as of what date?
Well, basically, well, I mean...
Monday.
Pretty much Monday, but the data came from the March 15th report.
But then we added Joan's payroll warrants to
right,
it, right?
for
So
the
those are-
30th.
So we're really up to date to the end of last week.
Right, correct.
We didn't, I haven't
So-
seen a report from Joyce
So would
this
you
week.
say that these numbers,
30th.
that these are included through any warrants that were issued past the report that gets released?
Yeah, there hasn't been a request. The only one we're requesting for warrants is our gentle yoga, and she has, we get money in for that. So they pay for that class. So.
Yeah, that's an in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really up to date through the end of last week. And then when we calculated what was needed we started with this week from a payroll perspective through the end of the year. Number
an
that's
average.
remaining and averaged out how much we've been paying and right, Josie? That's what you did to determine how much
And we have 6 more
estimated.
pay periods, as far as I can tell. So this would cover the 6 pay periods.
With a little bit of cushion for vacations.
Which is on the agenda.
Vacation coverage. Okay, does that answer your question, Hilda?
Yeah.
I think it was up to date as it could possibly be.
Right.
We met on Monday afternoon to
Right.
just put this together, up to date. Any other questions for Josie? Okay, all right. Nilda, anything?
From Highland Valley, regular meetings, a couple of, watching the numbers for year end. Still don't have any idea for the state. They just hired a new CFO. That's been a revolving door. The person that was there, who had been with the state system for multiple years, had a good handle and was a good communicator, but then he got, there was was a change, and then the woman came, and she was there less than 6 months, and so now they have somebody else. We don't know. We just have a name. We don't know what that is going to create. Working on the budget for next year, and just normal stuff. How the agency's dealing with programming.
Is there a chance, I mean, do they have minutes after you meet? Do you meet quarterly? Do you meet monthly?
We meet monthly.
Yeah, is there a way to share the minutes from the meeting?
Yeah. It's,
Private?
that came up some time ago with regard. We have a portal that we all have passwords to get into any kind of, multiple committee minutes, but it's not a public agency that, requires that open meeting law does not
Right.
apply. And so,
So they just don't share with the towns?
and we're not supposed to go back. The people that are representatives from the COAs are not working or are representing the COA in that they have an obligation to give them, advance information or anything that's going on internally. A couple of people that have been new have said, I report back, and we've had to sort of have another board orientation to say, you're limited in what you can give them general information about programs that pertain to seniors, anything that's on a public domain, but in terms of, it's not that it's doing anything, it's like the United Way. If you're on the board of the United Way, you're not self-serving. You don't go and say, come, and no one on that board has ever brought anything to the table that is in any way asking for the board support for that community. It's just doesn't happen. So I think that nothing's going on in secret. It's just that the organization, has a structure and...
Okay. It's just an education process for me, so
Yeah,
I didn't know what was accessible and what wasn't.
But I think, as Alan said at that meeting, you can pick up the phone and call anybody in the program side, like for home care or the Meals on Wheels. The criteria is that you have to have a financial need. It's not just anybody. It's no different than if you call a service net and you want a referral on mental health or special needs. They're a conduit of giving you that information, but they don't get involved. Just like we wouldn't get involved in any confidential information with a particular resident that would come to talk to Joan and say, I need this, who do I call? And so, and we don't get involved in that. Other than if there's a lawsuit that, and even then it's a former client A, we don't get all the details because, what difference would it make to us? The fact is that the agency is working to resolve it. So.
Great, thank you. Clarify. Oops. Okay.
And I do want to say something too, because Joan did hit on this very briefly at the meeting, and you and Laurie were at the meeting too. And also because there was something in the minutes that I thought the wording of it that I'm not going to make an issue of it. To clarify, it says that in terms of the Title III money that you're eligible to apply. It's not an eligibility, it's a...
A need?
No, it's, God, I have the word.
Opportunity?
Because this is so, it's like a public announcement. These grants, it's just like the state formula grant, they're well-known and they know they're coming, and so that the criteria by which people can apply is what, it's not eligibility, the fact that we have 5,000, seniors doesn't make you greater in line for the grant. It's really the scope of the grant that would have the impact, the most impact, and that's why they made them every 2 years, because they wanted them to be more of a results-oriented, because, grant funding is usually just seed money, and you hope that somebody was going to follow, and it's unlikely, because everybody said, oh, we got it, but then, and administratively never covers the amount of time that it takes, so anyway, I just, I'm not putting you in any, front line, like,
No,
other community, and when, and something to you, what you wrote in an email, the executive board or the whole board doesn't get into any conversation about it, really. We just get a number and who was awarded, the list of people that applied.
Okay.
So,
Well, do me a favor, when you're reading minutes and you see something like that, let me know so I can change. I don't know what word you would use instead of eligible, but if you tell me, I can insert it.
I mean, it's more, to me, more of an opportunity
Right.
for any of the centers, the
I have not
COAs, so.
And it's as a need, because I know...
it's not even an invitation. The only time we got an invitation, and this was my first time, was when we had the 2-year grant, and then they send you the second-year letter and saying, are you continuing? And that's the only thing, because you're already part of it.
Right.
But not, someone's not sending you a specific packet to say, here's a grant opportunity. So you got to be watchful.
There is an application process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Alan was fairly explicit at that meeting that right now they're in need. So they're not really interested in little tiny grants. They're looking for the big picture, and the big picture falls right into their lap because they have their own.
And a good portion of that already gets assigned to, specific areas that that are required
Right, the law,
to be met.
lawyers.
And so therefore,
Nutrition.
so.
I think we're just sensitive, because a year ago, we missed the ability to apply, the opportunity to apply. So we just, next year, this time, we just want to make sure we apply, or we look for the opportunities.
And I don't know how that came about, because I never received anything physically. I don't know if the office gets a packet, or is it done electronically?
Somehow I
If it's
doubt
done
it.
electronically.
Yeah, I think if you had, like you said, if you had the grant before, you get the renewal. So it has to be, you have to be connected already, and if not, you have to be proactive. You have to
Just
say,
watch the
I have a
website
need,
and-
we need $3,000 for this program, I need to apply. So you do have to be proactive, and you're not gonna just drop it in your lap.
Right. Not like the state formula grant, where you kind of get a communication to say it's time to apply.
And
That may not
everybody's
happen
getting a
with-
percentage.
Right.
We're all
That's
getting,
right.
$9 and, what is
Yeah.
it, 75 cents?
70 cents this year. Yes.
$9.77 per senior per 2010 census. It doesn't work that way with that federal grant.
So we're worth less than $10.
Scary, isn't it? Per year.
Let's hope it doesn't go down
Ouch.
this next year, so. Okay, all right, thanks for that clarification, Nelda. Coverage, so Joan's going on vacation.
Have fun.
I can wait 10 days. I'm leaving. I'm
nobody's
going
counting.
for 7 days, but I have 1 day of a holiday. So I may have to create that every year. So the week of April 16th is the holiday, Patriots holiday, so we're closed. So I need coverage for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Darlene works Tuesday, Wednesday. She'll work an extra hour and a half to open and close the building. Hour and a half. So 3 hours extra for her. And Flo would normally work a 4-hour week, but Monday's a holiday. So she would work 4 hours on Thursday, and since we're open 6.5, she'll get 2.5 hours extra. And everything will be good. And I'll be back
And
the
we
following.
have enough money in the budget to pay for Joan's vacation and the coverage, so that's why we really wanted to make sure we understood how much we have in the budget, so. All right.
I hope you're going somewhere warmer.
We are going to the Bahamas on a cruise.
Ooh.
And I'll take you all with me next time if you just let me know ahead. But we only go every 2 years, so.
That's a great trip.
Like the Grand, every 2 years we go on a cruise.
Can we backtrack to 6? Do we have a mission
Oh,
statement?
I'm sorry, we skipped over that. I don't know how I skipped way down.
Well-
Let's go back to 6, my mistake.
Try to get on my agenda.
Yeah, I was like, I only have 15 more minutes, so. Yeah, I saw in the minutes that Nova was gonna work on that.
So, first of all, I didn't volunteer for this. I was asked to do it, and I was happy to do it.
Okay.
I just don't want everybody to get too inspired that I volunteer. I have enough on my plate.
You get credit for RSVP.
That's right.
I said it was going to be concise, and
One more.
I made 7.
Yeah, we're good.
And so, I gave you 2, and one of my struggles with this was that it really, this is a statement that really is sort of evolving, because, when I say programming, when I say special programming, I refer to a uniqueness about the program as opposed to just activities and services.
Elder empowerment, financial empowerment, one that's coming up on the 11th.
Yeah, well, but see, there was, and so, it's sort of, they're supposed to, I did it in big type, so it takes up more lines, but I was trying to keep it between 3 and 4 lines as opposed to doing, 5 or 6, and so, this is for your review. If you don't like it, you can go back or,
I like the
change
first
that.
one. to
I do
take.
too.
Yeah.
The first one.
It says it all.
I do like the last line about, well, they both share that, keeping them independent.
Yeah.
I also wanted to, and I was not successful in doing that, was that I wanted the senior in the community, that by seniors having this, for us promoting the wellness, the total package of the senior in the community also benefits. So it becomes a partnership in terms of the better, but
No, I think the first one does that though.
Yeah.
I feel like it highlights.
and that's why I said our community, because I wanted that.
Think back when you were in school and you had to write a paper. It's just an introduction.
Currently.
There you go.
So anyway,
It's just an introduction.
so you can noodle it and.
No, I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, I like the first one.
I was just wondering if, like within that first sentence, if we said the mission of Southampton Council on Aging to provide activity services and special programming for services, or for seniors.
For the 55 or 60 plus age group, or how
Okay.
you want,
Well,
it's
the
that
bylaw has that, so why would you repeat it in your
mission
mission statement?
statement.
Well, the mission statement kind of,
It's
You don't
an
want people-
introduction.
it's an introduction, but why make them read the whole the bylaws
No,
necessarily?
I know, but you know what? I don't
Council on
think I-
Aging means people
by
over 60.
definition.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Or over 60, okay,
Yeah.
so,
And some communities do support 55, and they're very specific about that, but the majority is 60.
Yeah.
And if you
That's the federal
continue
guidelines
on,
is
if you-
60.
Yeah.
Look at the next sentence, and it says
Right.
healthy opportunities for the seniors. So we're,
Oh, yes,
For
so
the
seniors
elderly.
is mentioned.
right, right.
One of the-
Not elderly, we don't use elderly.
I know, that's one of the things that came up.
Or the other thing would be, if you leave the first sentence as it is, and rather than a period, just say, to promote independence, well-being, and healthy opportunities for the seniors, just,
That might just be a really long sentence.
it does.
yeah, you're like me, I like
Yeah,
to. It's like an ending at some point.
No,
That becomes more of a style thing.
No, I mean,
I think we really
I went
follow it.
back and forth. I mean, I did this over a period of a couple of weeks because I kind of reflected and then I did 5. And then
Wow.
and then I kind of took and, you know, repeating myself, and then what was the one that gave me the connection? And that was how so I said, well, I'll give them all.
Now we're definitely nominating you again.
See, I was
5
right in
statements.
saying,
You're signing yourself up for more of these.
Anyway.
Okay, so if we were to go with the first one,
Right.
how does that line up with because they have to connect with the...
Yeah, I don't have that with me, I'm sorry to
But can I just say that
think
they need to line up with our mission
Right.
Well, this is true.
Okay,
I
we
think
don't need to
I
line
think
up
it's
with
gonna
their
work
mission.
because
Okay.
they're talking
I mean,
about
that's-
activities, special programming, they have talk about that. So I think, you're right though, they need to line
They
up
need
with
to line
us.
up with the council on
So that's
aging,
not a
so-
problem. If we adopt this, I'll just give it to Andrea or Carolyn.
Do we have a motion then that we would like to make?
I'll
as a
make a
board?
motion to accept the first mission statement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion except thank you, Nilda, for
Job well done.
Yeah,
taking this seriously?
My evening inspiration.
that's good.
I've been binge watching Grey's Anatomy for the last 12 years, so. My inspiration. All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you again for doing that.
That's
Good. Now we have something we can share. Excellent. And I don't know that we really have time. Do you want to, we don't have copies of the bylaws with us, right? You retyped most of it. Did you make changes to whatever?
Did we get
No.
set? I had a folder that I didn't.
Didn't I email it out to
Josie
everybody?
emailed it to everybody.
Emailed
That's
it
right,
out.
that's right.
And I guess
Right.
what we have to do is it the same, because what happened is we never had a signed copy from the previous board, so we need to just get it dated and signed and it was voted on, but it
And
was
now we can
never.
include the mission statement,
And now
so.
we
That's
can-
right, we have a mission statement, we have bylaws, and I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. We were doing a hard screening at Northampton High School, so I knew I was going to be there for 6 hours. I had the bylaws with me.
So did you find any...
I sent them to you.
All right.
So,
There was one I loved. Instead of no, you had ho.
some more typo things then.
Yeah, it was simple typo
Okay.
things, there was nothing.
I think I
So we'll make a modification of that,
Okay.
maybe print it out and we'll vote and sign on it at the May meeting.
All right.
Is that okay?
I don't want to print all of it. I mean,
Well, we print a
for
copy
everybody.
and, yeah.
Yeah, I have a
No, it's
copy
okay. If
too.
it hasn't changed from...
Yeah, we can print our own.
You sent the
Yeah,
email.
send the revised one from
I
Lori's
just didn't
typos.
remember.
And we'll put
Okay.
it on the agenda to have it
Yeah,
reviewed and signed
okay.
at the next meeting.
All right.
Okay, I think we sort of talked about the FRITA overages.
Yeah.
Ed did get it as the liaison to their board. He did receive 2 documents yesterday, proposed service changes and proposed fare increases, and with a request to have feedback back to them by May 2nd. So he again is our liaison. Now, I guess it was Bob Markle before, it was Heather before that, so as town administrator.
Well, he represents the town.
Yes.
That's what it
Yes,
is.
he
And
represents
goes to
it.
the
Right.
meetings every year.
Right, right.
The never one.
He just had that added to his list the other day, he had one of the last meetings. So there are a list of meetings, so I asked him, the first attachment, I didn't make copies for everybody, but it's a list of meetings, asking him to attend, one of these meetings, so I asked him to let me know if he picks one to go to, so.
It's about the increase in fares, it's
Yeah.
public hearings.
And then there was also a PowerPoint, and I can forward this to the board for your review of some recommendations. I didn't want to make copies.
So is Fred making a proposal of fare increases?
Yes, July
In terms
1st.
of what?
Do you have a
the rate
list of what they're-
the rate they're
25
charging?
cents mostly.
Okay,
each
so it's
way.
not increasing the budgets?
No.
Here's, actually, I
Because-
could make copies of, this is,
So they're waiting to get
it's a
feedback
quarter
from...
of,
So I will send it to you, all of you, and I know, Nelda, you probably have more experience than the rest of us on this, but...
Well, my only involvement with them is that I've been part of, and I don't attend these meetings all the time, for Highland Valley on the hill towns because they don't have FRITA. And what they've had to resort to is that they have individuals that they pay, to do certain trips. But there again, because of their location, it takes so much longer to get to medical appointments regardless. And this is really volunteer-based, although some of them get $15 an hour just to cover. And it is a real big problem, and the state just hasn't stepped up to, PVTA doesn't go up there, and so...
Transportation is one of the most vital needs, and there's sometimes one of the most difficult. We're lucky to have a van.
And a grant from them for the van. So anyway, I'll send it to everybody. If you get a chance to look at it, you want to provide any feedback, either to me or to Ed Gibson, before he goes to one of these meetings. But at least to get an understanding. Is there a summary page, though? Is that...
That's what that is. I just...
I just asked Joan if she could print this out before
So this
this
is
morning.
when the
I
current-
got
this
it
is-
last night, basically. So current fare is $1 in town, $1.50 adjacent town, $2 beyond adjacent town, and senior center trips are half fare. So the proposed fare structure is $1.25 up from $1 to $1.25 per in town, $1.50 up to $1.75 for adjacent towns, the proposed fare. Beyond adjacent towns from $2 to $2.25, and then the senior center at half fare, the fare increased to 75 cents in-town trips, $1 adjacent town trips, and $1.25 beyond adjacent town trips. Okay, and an escort, right now there's not a charge for an escort, so an escort would be charged 75 cents for a trip. Okay, so that's kind of a...
I'm surprised they don't charge escorts. We always charge escorts. If there's two people,
Sure.
we charge them the same fare.
I can
I don't know
see
if we have
Richard
that
going
much of it.
bananas with
Yeah, we don't probably
the
have...
quarters.
Well, the 25, I was thinking myself, how's that gonna be handled?
Can we make Metro cards or something?
Right.
Prepaid Metro cards.
That's going to be the hatch. Well,
Yeah.
not just Richard, any van driver.
Right.
Well, maybe we'll
right.
find out how if they have some recommendations on
He
that.
gets quarters all the time. Sometimes he
Does
gets
he?
a whole roll of
Yeah.
quarters, yeah.
So anyway, well, I'll send it out. Again, I just got it last night. Actually, Rini got it, sent it to me. I contacted Ed. Rini got it from Ed, I guess, and then sent it to me, and I'll get it distributed to you. I sent it to Joan, and so we could print out at least the packet. If anybody wants to review the packet, it's here. Feel free to do that, so.
You
Okay?
just send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it. All right. Now, our year-to-date budget, we covered that in Josie's report, and the proposed fiscal year budget and the override. If anybody is paying attention, we are in an extremely dire situation on our town budget this year. I have a list of things that I've been asked to add a bullet. I've asked to ask a bullet for what we would give up from the town, from the seniors, if we don't pass the override. So this is what happens if the override does not pass. Basically, just to give you kind of an overview of that. And we haven't added the senior bullet, because I sent that out to you yesterday. I need us to talk about. So this is what happens. Our budget, in the regular budget, remains the same, because we're so underfunded already. In the override, they have approved to fund the director's position by the town instead of by the state formula grant, which frees the state formula grant up to be contributing to the programs and the outreach that we need, that it's really meant to do. So the board agreed to put that on the override, select board, and so we need to, we're working with the other departments and committees in town to talk about to help sell the override, because we know not one override has passed since 1991. So this is just a first draft. This is not a final draft that this task force put together. There is a meeting tonight.
Is this, excuse me, to say what a yes to Proposition 2.5 override, meaning...
Will prevent
pass.
If they pass the override, it will prevent this from happening.
If it doesn't
Okay.
pass, this is what will happen.
Okay, it will prevent,
Because this, I don't know, it just seems like an awkward way of stating it.
I think because they want people to say yes, so they're starting with that, yes, please, vote for the override.
so instead of saying this is what's going to happen if the override doesn't happen, this is what will prevent from happening. Again, we have a meeting tonight. We also have the budget meeting with the select board tonight that I'm probably gonna poke my head in and out for the couple of boards that I represent or try to help represent.
The negativity effect, 6.5, shouldn't it say negatively affect?
Impact,
Impact?
yeah.
I hear what Josie's saying.
Yeah. Who wrote this?
It's been, I think, a group effort from mostly school committee people. I'm just trying to make sure that we're not forgotten.
Yeah.
So I think it's a group that got together a couple weeks ago to talk about this impact. It's a task force. Again, they're meeting tonight at 6 o'clock in the senior center. If you'd like to attend, please, and give feedback, and you're available, please feel free to
Oh, the
come.
select board is meeting in their room.
Yeah, the select board's meeting in that room. So, your feedback as a member, a large community member. I mean, my comment to them at the first meeting was you have 1,700 seniors in town that vote. Let's not forget them. Because if it's about the schools and there's nothing, I mean,
Is
granted,
it only 1,700?
it's approximately 1,700. Up from 1131 in 2010. That's the 60 plus, I think. Or maybe the 65.
There was a new town census done in January, so maybe there is new numbers. Or we could check with Janine.
I can check what you need for the exact number. But
This
that's
is
still,
sort of-
like,
It's 60 and over, it's not 55,
Right, I mean,
60.
25 kids in a room is not acceptable, really.
but if you also look at the elimination of the paramedic second shift, the paramedic licensing for town, I mean, that has,
Yeah.
I mean, it affects everybody, but, as a senior, I'm probably more prone to
Yeah.
needing that service than,
And seniors get sick in the middle of the night.
Right.
Not during,
Yeah, most of
it's
their
like,
calls have been
we
second
need to
and
put out
third.
a sign, only get sick between 8 and 5.
the dog gets sick on Sunday when we have to go to the emergency clinic, I mean, that's just...
Always.
What? And I haven't been, I kind of accidentally come across the meetings, so I don't have a fluid, complete understanding.
Okay.
I thought that there was some effort that they were going to not touch public safety. Is that not the case? That I thought somebody said something about us, that they're, what's the word? It's not exempted, but in terms of liability and so forth, and...
That would be the correct thing to do. This is what
Yeah, I mean, if you,
Propose
this
as
is
a
like
select board.
proposed budget, I mean, this is the result of that happening. There have been cuts.
I think that Ed Gibson he made up some of this. I mean, he put together this report,
Well, he had to come up with a balanced budget.
maybe with Vicky or somebody
Yeah, he worked, I think.
Was that,
And now he's
was
gonna
that
lose his assistant.
distributed at the meeting?
at the
Yes.
select board meeting.
Yeah. So there's no raises, so nobody's getting an increase in raise across the board, okay?
And they're
Whether you're
eliminating
union
Zelda?
or non-union, there will be no raises. The 2% increase next year is not in any budget that's being submitted. So they're gonna look at two budgets, a non-override budget, which results in this happening, and an override budget, which would increase it. Here it says 71 cents per thousand assessed value for people. So, what, you had a question?
No, but, you know, I was talking about this with my daughter, and she was saying, what you need to tell
I don't
these
know if
people
it's
is...
pretty tiny print.
It's going to cost you
have that
50 cents a
somewhere.
week.
With Marco, we
It's
used
going
to
to
get
cost you
stuff.
50 cents a week. You have to break it down into
Can he-
minute
I don't have it
figures for them.
electronically.
Oh,
Because, you know,
And
71
it's probably been
cents,
changed
It is
since
too.
last week.
most people
I know.
don't even know what their house is assessed for. So they're going to look at that. But if you break it down to even smaller things, don't go to Dunkin' Donuts one day a week. That will take care of your increased taxes.
A lot of people are using that because there's so many community, you know, in terms of what you spend for coffee a week versus, I mean, that's really intrusive because, you know, everybody has a choice. And,
Right.
you know, what they want to do when you hit, so I think that, you know, having been through some of these rounds and overrides, it's a mental mindset in terms of the shift. And
So how do you get into that mental? I mean, I've told Joan, be prepared. They'll be coming with their walkers. You're going to see seniors you didn't even know existed. in
I'm
this
definitely
town.
working on the 15th because I want to see these seniors.
You're gonna think,
Well, it's at Norris
where
School,
did
so.
these people come
Oh, no,
No,
the
it's
election's
at the
here, yeah,
senior
yeah,
center.
election's here. But I think that, and I'll get you out the final document, I think what I want to accomplish today is how do we help our seniors embrace this? Because they need our support to get this override passed, to
The
not.
Southampton
lose
Meadows crowd didn't even know about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had, well,
Well, they do now.
had an unofficial coffee hour up there last week, and, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, like, what's the override about? I'm like, oh God, here we go.
And most
Well,
people initially say it's the schools, you know.
Well, I think
And-
that's part of
and
the problem.
I
is
think,
that
so
everybody-
what I had put out a statement to everybody yesterday, without the override, the Council on Aging will lose the opportunity to develop outreach programs for homebound seniors and the ability to expand much-needed programming. Okay, gotta read this. Much-needed programming to keep up with the tremendous growth of the 60-plus community in Southampton.
Well, who was this released to?
This is gonna be,
No, no, that's somebody.
I sent out an email to everybody yesterday with this on it.
Did you send
To
it
the board.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe it's
I've
in
been-
your spam again. I don't know.
I've been having trouble. Somebody sent me an
Okay.
email.
Here, you
I told
wanna,
you, Mercury's retrograde. Stick around.
I mean, look, just check it out then.
I don't know.
Defer.
I have to
Oh,
see.
Janet.
Because
It's
the
being
override,
rejected.
again, will fully fund the director's position, not quite fully fund the administrative assistant. So we may have to take some money from the state formula grant for Darlene's big 10 hours a week. But it will give us the ability to use the state formula grant for things that we need to use the state formula grant for.
Right.
Okay, and, you know,
And I think we did a damn good job when we released the newsletter out of there that we got grief for. Because that gave us $3,000 to apply to programming, to do,
Was that,
Pay for
when was that,
staffing.
May or? when
you
was
know.
that?
yeah, pay for
You know.
staffing is where most of it,
Yeah, but, you know, otherwise we would have been in the worst of a
Yeah.
pickle.
Oh, yeah,
And
they
so-
wouldn't have had
When you
any-
go back
So,
to the seniors get entrenched, they hate change.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why this is such an uphill
But we were
battle.
doing it because we had a vision, you know, it may not have been of everybody's vision, but, you know, every time I look at the newsletter, the fact that we have.
It's done by
it's a
sponsors
blessing.
versus-
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
It was a very big expense.
so I think, you know, inching, what I would feel better about is if we really had a facility that could accommodate that growth, because even with the calendar, the multi-activities that are going, you're still, I mean, the people are coming in for exercise, you know, if they want to sit down on our chairs to read, they can't do it because there's all this stuff, it's just not conducive, so how do you know,
Well, I
the
think
space
that's-
is
People
just-
were sitting in them yesterday, reading.
Oh, yeah.
I think
One lady was there all day because her
Yeah,
car's,
this is,
her car's dead,
I
so
don't
she
know, the
stayed
other
there
day I
all
came
day.
in, there was a big pillow on one of them. What the heck is that all about?
Some of them use pillows on their chairs because
No,
they're
no, this is the
uncomfortable.
chairs,
Yeah,
we spent
I know.
$100 for.
Oh,
I mean,
love those
granted, we
trees.
need to move in that direction, but this is a $9,000 override in our favor that we can
And if
use
we
to
can't fund the
to help
director,
start with outreach.
We're not going
For
anywhere.
the seniors that are homebound. I
This
mean,
list-
You know how important that is as
Now,
well.
what about, how does that play in this, if the town hall, because, I don't know if I heard this from somebody that is closing the town hall another day or doing shorter days. How does that work out with?
That's not on here. That's not on here. Closing the library
There was-
is on here, but
Close to the
there's,
library, but I think, was it the town clerk? They have at nighttime hours? I don't know
Oh,
if
the
that,
evening,
that
the
that
yeah,
would
maybe
change.
the evening hours, yeah. But not, there's been no discussion about closing the town hall
for
another
another
day.
day. It's the library.
I'm shocked with the loss of the town administrator assistant. I mean, that's a biggie. See, what I would do is
It's
I
only the
would
timing,
move-
because she's
Oh,
leaving.
We're rearranging, I already
Yeah.
told them.
Oh,
But I
Yeah.
think this is good because I
everybody
think
knows. This is just a
like
draft.
75% of the focus has
Yeah.
been on what's gonna happen at Norris. And I think for
Right.
the crowd that doesn't have kids there or didn't have kids go through the
Right.
school or don't have to really feel like they have to care about Norris, is like, oh, it's all
It's a
about the
quality of
school.
life.
Right.
It's a,
But there's a
that's why
lot
I
of
say
people who are
it's
gonna say,
our community.
I don't have kids there, it's not
Our
my problem.
community.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's a
the
lot
whole
of people that
community.
just say, you know what, the override never passed, and they found the money.
Right.
So if we don't pass the override, they'll find the money they need.
They're not
I don't
gonna
think
find
so.
money. We won't have money for
Right.
outreach programs. We
Right.
won't have money to,
This is at Norris tomorrow night, right?
No,
The
this-
override.
this is tonight.
This is tonight.
At Norris tomorrow night is the forum for the chapter.
Oh, yeah, God,
Chapter 61.
I can't.
How does
So-
that get into the mix of things from a timing standpoint? I'm losing on the 60, chapter 61.
That's a
What is
whole
that
other-
so? But is that something that is budget related, that they're putting?
No.
No.
It's
That's
just
all
It just
kind of
timing.
a concept in
timing.
terms
Well,
of
it's because
open
three large
space.
open space properties that are in chapter are up for sale, and I think it's driving an education need for the
And
community to
Some of
understand.
the closing dates are in April.
And one has already
They were
happened.
Yeah, one's already
so-
happened.
So do I have other feedback on this particular
Thank you for contributing to this.
bullet? Did everybody get a chance to read it and
did.
modify it or
Oh, I haven't seen that.
think about it? I know you were working on numbers last night.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
town administration assistant employees. It wasn't us, it was, it's not,
Yeah, they're gonna cut back on a lot of the other
town-
Well, that's
admins.
okay, because
Not our
even with
adminis-
Velda, I thought that, there wasn't enough time for them to do with the answering the phone, follow-up. I mean,
So they're gonna
I think
cut it back more.
it's gonna earn his bucks.
So the town's going to grow and the government part of it's going to shrink.
Well, because we're in this, I mean, we always talk about Granby and how, the salary for Granby for the senior center is $112,000. I mean, that includes a couple van drivers, it includes lunch people, it includes, but they pay $3 more per thousand in taxes than we do. So their tax rate is much higher than ours, so it's,
We're
we
asking
can't
for
get there
71
without,
cents.
Per thousand.
without an override, and that's only gonna fix this year, so. So again, without the override, the Council of Aging will lose the opportunity to develop an outreach program for homebound seniors, which we're not really able to do, and the ability to expand much-needed programming to keep up with the tremendous growth of the 60-plus community in Southampton.
Sounds good.
I will, they're waiting, we're the last submission, I made them wait. We met
because
today.
we were reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
sounds
great.
good.
Thank you. And again, 6 o'clock tonight, you can go to the select board meeting, or you can go to the,
Well, you can do both.
or you can do both, or go to the task
I won't be
force.
going to either, and I won't be looking for pay for the hourly.
I'm getting confused. It's going to be 2 meetings?
No, but there's a select board meeting, but this
That's
task
separate.
force is
Oh, okay.
putting to, so if anybody in the board can come to the task force meeting. I was probably, well, Rini was there, Charlie was there, I'm thinking it'll be over 60 people. I was
And I
there.
can't go, I've got
Um,
other obligations.
I'll
If I
go.
can
I'll
get
be
out of
there.
school on time,
Yeah, okay.
see what I can do.
All right, so
I think
anybody,
they're doing a good job.
yeah, anybody, I mean, we want it to look like it's a team approach, not Yeah. Something from,
So you'll be the young person.
So I will send you.
I will try my best.
I will send you the revised one. They're gonna, at the forum tomorrow night on chapter, they want something that they can hand out at that meeting to get the message out. So we know that, so the other thing that we need to talk about under this override topic is scheduling a meeting for the seniors at the senior center to help educate about the override and have maybe Chief Workman come in, have Chief Goyette come in, maybe Ed come and answer a Q&A, kind of review the override with the seniors and then have a Q&A so that people can ask the hard questions that they have every right to ask before they make a decision. So I wanted to come to you today and ask for if you support that, and
I think it's a great idea.
to have another.
Anything that increases communication.
Right.
I sat with like 6 of them last week. It was like, wait. Oh my God, I'm not the expert on this.
And we don't want to do it at the luncheons because that's
Right.
the Friends. This is a COA function
Right.
again, so we try to keep clear, definitive.
Although you're having a tough time.
I don't think so. I'm not.
The only thing about not including it during a luncheon is getting the people in to hear what you have to say.
Well, then
Well,
we're
you
gonna have to
always
do
use the
that.
line, if you give them food, they'll come.
Right, coffee and
so-
snacks, they'll be here.
So
But it is, they're
So
relaxing and it's an enjoyment.
So the town meeting is May 1st, so it has to, the override budget has to get voted on at the town meeting, as you guys all know, I'm preaching to the choir, and then it goes to ballot on May 15th. So sometime between now and either we have 1 or 2 information sessions, so it's up to this group on what you feel that we should do, and
So you want to do it sometime between now and May 1st?
Well, it has to be during the day.
it has to be during the
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
So here's 2 problems. First of all, we don't have time to advertise. We're already into April.
Well, if we're thinking the third, we can't put it in the newsletter, but we could advertise. We could get an article in the paper. I'm thinking of maybe around the 23rd, 24th, because I'll be gone the 16th or the 20th.
I don't know whether we can we advertise a political, there was something that comes to my mind in terms of resources and, what am I thinking of? Was it with the school when we did this? You can't mix the two. I mean, you can take the position of, sharing the information.
And that's what this
How it
is
impacts.
information sharing.
It's information.
It's
Oh, so it's
not
advertising the date of the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
I
date of
thought it
this
was-
meeting. Oh, yeah, not putting
oh.
something in the
Oh,
newsletter
oh,
about,
that's-
yeah, I wanted to put on the front page, please vote yes,
Yeah.
but Jim said I couldn't do
Even
that.
editorials are...
Yeah, we know editorials
Okay,
are
okay.
good, so. So, I mean, we don't have to do it before May 1st, but we definitely have to do it before the election. I don't know if we'd have time to do it twice, because that's rambunctious.
I feel like the last week of April would probably be a good
Okay.
time to do it.
So the
Then
last
it's
full
fresh.
week of April will be the 23rd to the 26th, so we're only open till
Can I have one of those?
Monday through Thursday.
Anybody else want a
I want
calendar?
to see what's on the agenda.
Anybody? You have.
And we are having pizza on the 24th, if you think pizza will draw them in. So we could...
Pizza
we
and
could-
Sandy?
We
Who's
could
Sandy?
work, she's a piano player.
Okay.
But we could, and also Don Helmuson's going to be here on the 23rd, but I don't know where he fits into that picture, maybe he doesn't. So...
Yeah, that's kind of crossing politics, I think, a little bit with information sharing.
We have Monday afternoons open. We could, I mean, there's nothing going on, so we could have it informational, but will people come? It's like, if people are coming for something else, I have Wednesday morning open, the 25th, if we started at, 10, 11
You know, I have
o'clock.
to share this story. When I was on this renovation and expansion of the Norris School, the committee, each one got assignments to go to the particular different departments, like the library. We had one at the church in the afternoon, and just different representatives went and sort of took our layout and everything. I got the seniors at the church, and surprisingly, we had a good turnout. I had someone, helping me with the charts and everything like that. They all brought their pillows, and they asked questions, but then I kind of, first of all, they had trouble with my name. And then they would say, they fell asleep.
Well, they had their pillows, they were comfortable.
To this day, my girlfriend Linda will talk from time to time. She'll say, I can't believe the day that I came out of that church. And it was wonderful to have that face-to-face, but this was even before I got on the board, so it was my first. But they came, and we didn't get them any coffee or Danish or anything like that. But I just want you to know that
We have a
We
date
can't make it too long.
We have a date at the church on the 30th. I wonder if we could connect it somehow. We're going to be at the church in the hall at 1 o'clock. I wonder if we could have those papers to pass out or whatever. And it's funny, the play is called The Haverstown Milltown Meeting.
Yeah.
But just so you know, they said we can use their hall anytime if we feel that it's a better setting than the senior center.
I think you make a valid point. We need a lot of these sheets that show the negativity of not passing. Catherine does Healthy Bones. She could hand them out to those. I could hand them out to the bingo club. We're not making a statement. We're asking you, just please read this.
And we need to put our information session on it, so that, information followed by Q&A, because people need to be able to feel free, they can ask questions without being like browbeat or anything, so.
So, I don't know how you do this, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but what if you had something that was just 2 columns? This is what happens with yes, this is what happens with no, and list all of the positives and the negatives.
bullets.
Do we know all the stuff that's going to happen with it yet?
I think that
Yeah, it was
this whole
presented in the
committee is
budget at the
going
select board.
to, put something together, and if we decide we want to modify it somehow, I can't influence the 30
Right.
people that are going to show up tonight,
It's just an idea.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it'd probably be easier to read that way.
Because, I'm must be slow.
No, it's just
found it
visual. It's visual.
Well, again, this is not the final, this is just a draft of the
I think they
bullets,
were
but,
just
yeah,
throwing
collecting all the information, and I've already said,
Should be
don't
more
put the
condensed.
seniors at the bottom, don't put the
Yeah.
school at the top. Nobody will get past the first button, the
Yeah.
first bullet. So there being modifications, it's being made pretty, but your suggestion, Josie, again, is to take plus and minus?
Well, the
Plus,
2 columns,
negative.
this is what happened, the pluses if it's passed, the negatives if
Yeah,
it's
because your
not.
pluses,
Because I looked at this initially, and there's a lot of people, I'm actually not one of them, who speed read, and they say yes. Okay, if you say yes, this is going to prevent, and it's going to be negatively affect 6.5 positions. It's not computing in my head.
Yes.
So it's just,
Yeah, this prevent needs to be over here, so that,
Somehow that it's,
the flow.
right.
yeah. But I like your idea. Years ago in my corporate life, we had a WPU professor come out to help us do overheads when we were giving presentations. And he said, keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're saying, Josie. People pick it up, they see a lot of writing, they
Yeah.
read 1 or 2 things, they're
And
going.
this is spaced out, so it does give you a wide, it's soothing on the eyes, but when I was in advertising, you did a 1-line semicolon, then you did bullets, and you can converse about those, but you engage them as opposed to them self-reading, because they may not understand everything,
Yeah,
or
because-
want to.
Elimination of, you could even use elimination of, blah, 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 blah.
instead of prevent.
Yeah, full-time police officer, your 2nd and 3rd shifts. And then if people wanted to talk about that, you could, as
Well, what they're going to
Natalie
do is break it into categories, so they'll have, public safety, and then some of the things, and then
That's
they'll have
good.
library, some of the things, they'll have senior center, or a couple of things, they'll have, Norris School, the bullets underneath it. So it's been, again, this was just the first blush, and they've got
Alright.
tremendous feedback.
Well, we're giving you the feedback on what you
So,
presented.
yes, so I can send an email, and I guess my confusion is with and without, it's kind of redundant, and I just, with the override, you get this, without it, you get this. I'm just trying to, it's a lot of information, I'm just trying to visualize how
Without
I
it,
get
you
that.
lose
Yeah.
Yeah.
this.
Well, you
Or
could
you
say
eliminate
that the
it.
positive is
I don't know.
nothing.
Yeah, they're trying to say vote a yes to prevent these things from being.
Well, I think it
So
was
anyway,
Lori's thought, if you put to prevent this,
vote yes.
vote yes, you'll have.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I see what you mean.
You need to be explicit what you're looking for.
So your comment tonight.
I am coming.
But you can pick a date, I mean, you can use our calendar or whatever, you can pick a date, you can talk about the church, I mean, you can, whatever.
Well, I think I want to leave this meeting with a date, and if we can, okay?
I think
We're
you,
picking two days.
if you're
Now,
using
is
this.
Well, we can do, let's get
definitely
one.
What's that?
Doing it during a luncheon is
It's out.
definite- is
Yes,
out.
It's
definitely
out.
out, it was,
It's out. Well, it's mixing friends with the COA. So
Okay.
we can't, we need to make this a.
and people who felt
board
strongly
thing.
about it, so they wouldn't come to the dinner if they were gonna have politicizing.
Yeah, so, and then that's,
So
So
I have to
is-
get to work, so.
yes, so do we look at the week of the 23rd or the 30th? I mean, the 30th looks like a pretty busy schedule on how
And
much.
if we're gonna have a meeting on May 2nd?
Yeah, we
like
should
our
have-
meeting on May 2nd?
We should have it
Do I Put it the
before.
week before?
Yeah, the week
Yeah.
before.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So is.
So do we do the
What's
20?
news and free? And it's,
That's free coffee.
Okay.
We have free coffee.
All
That-
right.
There's plenty of room at that time, 10 to 11, and it might work
On
for
which
the
date?
chiefs,
The 25th.
if we can get people to come out,
Yeah.
Well, we know we'll have the bingo crew out, if nothing else.
if we have it at, what, 11 o'clock?
well, or 10:45.
Or 11:30, yeah.
11:30.
The 29th is a Sunday.
No, 25th.
25th.
And that gives you a couple days at the beginning of the week to prepare it, so.
Okay.
Okay.
25th works for me.
All right, so can we move?
What's
the-
everybody, oh, you know what? I can't do the 25th.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
it must
your
be
your
hair day.
Yeah, Wednesday's your hair day.
How about the 24th, because we're having pizza? They'll come for
That's my
that.
hair day.
Okay.
Oh, for God's sake.
You guys are really important. I don't have a hair day. I need to clearly get on board with
Hey,
this.
listen, when you get to this age,
I go to West Hartford for my hair day, so
You gotta change that.
that's ridiculous.
thank you for all weighing in on
It's
that.
like my friend from Florida, she goes to New Jersey. I said, Lori, really?
That's
Okay.
Not me.
So-
Not this Lori.
And
I mean, we could do Monday afternoon, or we could do Tuesday, I mean,
Well, we got...
What's wrong with the 26th? Thursday?
We have Healthy Bones, but they could do it, and we probably want the people from Healthy Bones to be involved with it. So maybe we could have it at 12:30,
to 1
and I
o'clock.
could push the pitch
Could they
people.
do that instead of going to Duncan?
If you're twisting around.
I mean, we could make it right at 12:15 and just transition into it.
And provide something to eat.
There you go.
On the 26th?
Yep.
For the
Because you got a
26th.
good group.
I'll see.
Yeah, well, we've been getting, well, yeah, 15.
I may make sure my pedicures aren't that day.
I haven't even looked at my calendar.
Unbelievable.
Mine's tomorrow and I have to cancel.
Those are in Northampton, so I can manage
Yeah,
that one.
my,
Okay,
So
so.
26 right now,
The
we're-
26th?
At
you know,
12:15.
people are gonna listen to this though, because,
I know.
We're still being
We're
recorded.
recorded, Yes,
Oh my
that's
God.
okay.
thank goodness we're not,
We are so not the only board that has side chat. And I'm assuming May 2nd is our next COA meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, and we're sticking with 9:30?
Yeah, 9:30 here.
yes.
Okay.
And so if we want to do another one before the 15th, before the election.
Good idea, so May
So
something.
what looks good for everybody in May?
you still on April 26th, because I got out.
Okay. Okay.
That's not working, April
I
26th.
don't know.
Info
No, it's just
session.
that
And I'll get to the
All right,
two
so-
chiefs.
So May,
And
the
reading.
week before, so we've got 7th, 8th, 9th,
I
10th,
called this.
Right, that week.
and maybe we want to do it, maybe we could do, Wednesdays aren't good for you?
No, just
Just that
one
last
Wednesday a
Wednesday.
month.
So the 9th possibly, May 9th?
Graham is here.
Yeah.
And she is
Okay. I also know Rini doesn't do Wednesdays because unless her teaching stops.
Okay.
So I think as our
Yeah,
liaison,
well,
if she can be here, of course, if Ved's here, it's okay that she's not here, but I mean, we could do that and try to, I don't know when her
I was
classes
just gonna
stop.
say,
Yeah.
let's,
All right,
we could
I'm
even get the
gonna
van
send me
there.
an email or something.
Yeah.
I may have to give you my other email address because
A couple of them drive
I
up.
don't want to do that.
And then we'll just,
I gotta wait for,
Okay, any,
the week
anybody?
of the 7th, to be annoued or something. The week
For
of
the
May
second
7th. Yeah, for the second meeting.
I'm
we'll get back
graduating
to
that
you.
week, so.
What day is not good for you?
Congratulations.
Well, graduation is on the 12th.
Okay, so you
So
just
that would be
already
final
Yeah.
wacky. So, I can do the 26th because it's a Thursday. I
Yeah.
can fit that in for work,
Okay,
and I
good.
will be here on the 2nd, but I will have to let you know about.
Okay, all right then.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's
Thank
All right,
you.
I mean, maybe we'll look for the 10th.
We're not gonna choose one yet.
Maybe we'll see how the meeting, how the first one goes.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Meeting adjourned at 11:05?
Wait a minute, we didn't address one other thing.
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry,
before
yeah,
you
yeah,
go,
yeah.
This is important.
This, I'm sorry, yes.
Is there a procedure when a board member passes this?
So Gladys passed. In her-
Previous,
in-
she was at
yeah.
Ambrook, right?
I don't know, I didn't even know.
Does it say Arbor? Does it say?
Let me see.
A procedure.
No,
in
she
terms
was
of
at Mount
Montgomery
Marie
from-
Rehab and Healthcare Center, and so.
How old was she? Was she over 100?
95.
In her wishes, in lieu of flowers, to contribute in her memory to the Friends of the Council on Aging.
Yay.
So.
That's nice.
That was very nice, and I guess it's been brought to my attention, and I guess I'd like to know how the board
We've
feels.
done, you know,
and how we do it.
either have gone to the service or we've sent some money and, you know, something that Jennifer would say, this person was supported. No one gave us a specific.
So where would Jennifer send the money in to?
Whoever, whatever she knew that would be something that the
So
person...
where would that money come from? Our budget?
We don't have it.
No.
That would be personal.
We.
So if the
give
board
something
wants to make, if
individually.
an individual board member would like to donate, give it to Joan, and we will let her sons know that we're making this donation. I mean, it's, again, this was back, she died March 3rd.
Oh, my gosh.
So this, we met on the 4th, so nobody had this, I guess, information at the time, and so we're a month later.
So this donation would wind up going to the Friends?
Right.
It could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's
But
really
to let
Well,
her
you can
family
give it to
know.
the Friends, or you can give it to the revolving account, and then that gives, or choose.
Well, but their request was specifically to the Friends, so I would like
As
to
a
honor her
board.
request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her
So,
Friends.
There you go.
She was more on our board than the
Yeah.
Friends.
Well,
so
But
anyway,
that's a request.
so can we in the next, and within the next week, let Joan know, give Joan money, and then,
right.
and we don't have a way of writing a check, so that's the other issue, so we'll figure out maybe,
They take cash.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Or
so
you can get a
we'll,
bank check at East Hampton.
Yeah, that's true,
easy.
too.
Oh, right.
Okay.
So we'll give Joan the cash.
yeah.
Did everybody know her?
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
No, I
No,
didn't know.
but she's
her
a
either.
past member.
But I do know
You're
that
kidding?
Jen
You
and
couldn't
Connie
forget
went to the
Gladys.
service.
Right.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 11:08.
Thank you.
Okay, let me turn
So
off.
are we off?
Yes.
Not yet.